Welcome to the bonus episode of the Friendsy podcast, where we talk about one of our favorite things and something that brought us together from the beginning, which is music, specifically Christmas music, which is my favorite, not necessarily Julia's favorite, but it's 100%. I will start Christmas music around October and I'll end it around February. It's truth.
You go past Christmas.
Yes, of course I do.
Oh, I didn't know that. I knew that you started early. I didn't know you went to February.
Yes. This is much to Michael's disdain, who's a musician, choir director, everything, who has to start Christmas music in September. So when he's at work doing Christmas music and then comes home and I'm listening to Christmas music, it's maybe not his favorite thing, but it's all part of the package that you get with me.
It's part of the Tanya package.
So for a special treat today, with our bonus episode, we've compiled our top 20 list of Christmas songs that give us all the feels, and we're going to talk about why they give us all the feels. Where should we start? Because I think with Christmas music, there's some songs, Jules, where I'm going to say it, and you're like, are you serious right now?
Yes. Well, we started a conversation the other day, and we were talking about Christmas music, and we realized that we had some very different opinions about certain songs, certain artists, and even Christmas music in general, because I'm kind of a Grinch. And you are...
I'm like Hallmark blew up in your house kind of Christmas lover.
Right. And I am just like... you can see I do not have a Christmas tree behind me. I don't
have Christmas trees in my house right now.
Oof. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Let's just dive into it.
Let's just dive into some music. So we have pretty eclectic taste when it comes to music, I think. We will get pretentious, I think. That goes without saying.
Moments here. We can't help
There's going to be some pretentiousness, and people are going to be like, what are you talking about? Or are they serious? Unfortunately, yes, we are serious. We will make jokes, but we have a sense of humor about ourselves too.
We can appreciate how pretentious we sound.
Yeah.
On many occasions. But let's start with classical. That's where we're trained.
Okay.
Julia, favorite classical music, Christmas carol?
My favorite classical, traditional, really churchy Christmas song, and the best ones are the churchy ones. The best ones are like Christmas is Baby Jesus, etc.
Of course.
Once in Royal David City. This piece is one that we have sung in school. It's a song that melodically is very satisfying to me. I just think it's so pretty. It's really lovely to sing. It's just really lovely to sing like in a church, even though, from the, not the day, is it called the dais? What is it? Yeah. From the dais as the like choir, it's just a really lovely song to sing with the echo of a church. It's just as simple as that.
I'm not going to be as cerebral as you. I love this piece because, do you remember high school choir at QEH?
I sure do.
And every year our choral Christmas concert opened with Once in Royal David's City, and we separated the choir. So you have this antiphonal feel of it. Like it's surrounding you by this beautiful choral piece. And then you always have that soloist coming down the aisle. Actually, the church I got married at.
Yes, it was.
It was the church I was, and to me, that helped start the Christmas season, that concert. And you can find all of the songs that we talked about today on Apple Music and Spotify. So mine is by a choir I discovered a few years ago when Michael took over directing Convino Cantus, and he was like, if you hear any music you think would be interesting, let me know. And I did some research on choirs. I do not know how to pronounce their name. So I'm going to say Voices 8. So it's VOCES.
I almost picked this version.
Really?
Yes, I did.
But it could be Voces 8. It could be like Voces, so I don't know. So I'm really sorry if I'm butchering it, but same reason why I picked it. It starts off with the soloist and then the choir comes in. But I find this version has just thicker, more dissonant harmonies that I just love that in choral music. Okay, I'm getting really excited that I can't even talk right. I cheated and we're supposed to compile a list of 10 and I compiled a list of like 20 songs.
And you doubled up.
I doubled up.
You broke all of the playlist rules.
I did. I
To
tend
which I adhere pretty strictly. I put mine in a proper order and spent time on what order they should go in.
That's
I'm
great.
just saying.
So here's the thing. We both chose In the Bleak Midwinter as well. So we both chose Once in Royal David City. Now we didn't talk to each other before we recorded today. This is the first time I'm seeing your list. So the first one, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, the first one is from it's brand new. It's from an album by Chili Gonzalez, who's a Canadian musician, who did a whole album with Feist, I believe, and has worked with like Peaches and a lot of cool Canadian musicians. And he's a pianist, and like I think he remixes stuff too. So it's him on piano, and it is Jarvis Cocker of Pulp. Instead of singing the words, he is more reciting along with the piano.
I mean, it's very impactful. I don't know if I would listen to that. Drinking martinis, zoom in with my friends on Christmas Day, you know, it doesn't give me the it's something if I want to intentionally listen to something, I would listen to it, but it wouldn't be something I would listen to like sing along and get like in the Christmas mood.
Right. And do that dance too.
Well, there's always a dance.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on to the other version I picked.
Okay.
So the other version I picked is, do you know who James Blake is, Jules?
I do, yeah. A great British singer you introduced me to, actually.
I'm obsessed with his music, and this is a great version of it because he's kind of really depressing, and this is a depressing piece. So the two they marry each other very well here. Isn't it hauntingly beautiful?
It's gorgeous.
Freaking gorgeous. That like echoey solo.
The echo.
It's indicative of Chet Baker style, just kind of that like lazy enunciation, sad intonation. And it's like he's in a hollow, empty room by himself. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
It's very good. I really like that.
Classical piece that I chose. I know I'm going a little overboard with the pieces, but when I went to Mount Allison for my undergraduate degree in music, they held a Christmas concert every year. And they opened the concert with a piece called Donna Nobis Pacem, which is Bringer of Peace.
That is one I do not know.
Oh my
God. Never heard of it.
So we would sing around the staircase that's really echoey, and it was like 200 of us singing it.
I've never heard it before. I'm not familiar with it at all.
So it's used often in masses written by composers. So Bach used it. Sometimes you'll hear Kyrie, the Kyrie eleison, or you'll hear Nobis Pacem. But it's basically
you're going over people's heads now.
Okay,
you're getting real.
Used for like 400 or 500.
You know, it's used with the Kyrie eleison. Everybody knows what that is.
Let's do something upbeat.
Here's a song that I love. It's by the Waitresses. It's called Christmas Wrapping.
I don't know this piece. Tell me a little bit about it.
It's from the 80s. It's kind of in the spirit of how I feel about Christmas, which is like, especially this year, lyrically in particular, it's like, you know what? I don't really have the energy. I don't have the energy this year. But that's the lyric in the song. So I think it's very 2020, even though it's like 30 years old. And it's got a kind of new wavy sound, kind of post-punk, it's got a saxophone in it. You know how I feel about that. It's just like a groovy tune that's like upbeat, but the lyrics are like, I wish this wasn't happening. Isn't that fun? And like, you can kind of just bop along, but it's also kind of like a realistic song about a missed connection and just like not feeling Christmas. Happens.
Not feeling it.
Yeah.
My pop piece. Oh, I've loved this piece for so long, and every time it comes on, I will literally dance around. And I think you saw me cutting up onions the other day when we were FaceTiming, dancing my heart out to this lovely classic gems. Everybody ready? Oh, Jules, I love this piece of music.
Oh, it's so good.
So good. So freaking good.
Oh, I love Wham. I have a Wham record from that I got from when I was a kid.
Wow.
Yeah. Not to brag.
Not to brag.
But
Oh, so
oh
good. So good. Who
boy,
doesn't love this song?
I
I
love that
Bieber,
song.
Bieber tried to do a version of this. I'm like, no, Bieber. No, 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 no. Stay in your lane. I have something controversial that I know you're going to disagree with.
Oh.
So generally speaking, I'm not the biggest fan of vocal jazz, but at Christmas time, like bring it. Bring me the vocal jazz, make it as lame as possible, do the beats, do the different layers of voices. You're going to hate me for saying this, and I'm going to play it for you. And I just want you to give it a chance because there's so many other, and I know, I recognize there are other better versions of this piece. This is specifically talking about Christmas.
I know what you're gonna
Only Christmas.
I know who you're talking about.
It's
I know who you're talking about.
It is Hallelujah by the Pentatonics version.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not what I thought you were gonna say.
Give me a chance. I know that we have so many other versions out there that I could list that should go before this version, but just for Christmas, I enjoy this one.
I have two things to say.
Oh boy.
This is not what I thought you were going to who I thought you were going to talk about, but we're going to talk about him later. I know we're going to have to bring him up. And you told me not to get mean, and I'm going to try not to.
You're going to be mean.
No, I'm not. I promise. Because I'm in the minority here when it comes to we'll get there. But I have not heard that before. Before I mentioned my love of Leonard Cohen. Don't you raise your eyebrow at me before I even say my thing. I mentioned my love of Leonard Cohen, and before he died, he asked that people please stop covering that song. So I picked a jazzy, more like kind of big bandy, almost. But I mean, this guy was at the forefront of jazz. It's Louis Armstrong with the song "Cool Yule."
That's a great piece.
It's just so fun. It's super upbeat, and it's very Christmassy. It's very like, let's do this. Let's get out there. Let's dance and trim the tree and do all the stuff, all the fun stuff.
There's nothing more satisfying to me than a beautiful big band. Oh,
yes, those horns.
So good.
Everything should have horns.
Remember we went to see Harry Connick Jr. live and his big band stole the show. It was so good. So good. Actually, that's a great transition because we both
picked
the Harry Connick piece.
We did.
Different. So
yes.
I chose is I forget now. So to Ave Maria. I think he does a great pop version of Ave Maria.
It's beautiful.
It is a classical piece of music written by Schubert, I believe. Right? Schubert, right?
I do not know.
Correct us if we're wrong. I think it's Schubert.
The way he rolls the R's, he doesn't need to do that.
Need to do that, but he does.
He does it
beautifully. He really does. He's so great.
We both love him very much, and as Tanya said, we saw him at the Montreal Jazz Festival with his full band, and they did a tribute to New Orleans jazz.
Oh, it was so good.
It was so good.
He did a great voice. Something Fire. Saint something
Fire. Oh, St. James Infirmary Blues.
Oh, it was so good.
I cried.
I've never heard anything like it. Mm-hmm. So the reason, when I was in grade 6, I decided that I was going to marry Harry Connick Jr. and I was going to be his trumpeter in his big band. Now, he ended up marrying a lingerie model, and I ended up marrying my own pianist, who's, in my opinion, way better. But it was a dream I held on to until, grade 12? His first year university? I don't know. Harry, I love you.
That's another person who we both are desperately in love with.
Oh, he's so good.
I'm also in love with Harry Connick Jr.
New Orleans accent. Oh my God.
Ooh, don't.
I can't. Can't.
That drawl.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes, and he's actually talented. He's freaking talented.
He's brilliant.
Ellis Marcellus, who is the father of Wynton Marsalis, another one of my faves.
Mm-hmm. And Branford Marsalis.
Branford sax, yeah, that's right, of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's we sadly lost him this year. He was this patriarch, this grand, amazing piano player in New Orleans. And Harry Connick, I think, started taking lessons from him when he was young. He put out his first album when he was 11, I think. Harry Connick.
Come on, Harry. Putting us all to shame here.
This song is so fun and cool, and it's very big bandy. It is just full of horn blasts. Everybody is playing their loudest, highest notes and just going all out and having a blast. It's so good. The call and answer, we love a call and answer.
Oh, that's a great transition to another call and answer piece that I picked.
This is why we're best friends.
Oh, Julia, brilliant. A good call and answer comes from slave song and made its way into the gospel tradition, and a lot of jazz and soul and hip hop. There's even a lot of hip hop has taken on the call and answer aspects of music. One album I discovered this year, actually came out this year, is Leslie Odom Jr. Tell us about Leslie Odom Jr., Julia, because we're both obsessed with him because of one specific musical, which is how I discovered him. I don't know about you.
And yeah, of course.
Hamilton.
Yeah, he was Aaron Burr in Hamilton. He won a Tony for it, deservedly so.
Oh, absolutely. Also, he's quite attractive.
He's also gorgeous.
So you have this like gorgeous voice coming at you with the face to match. Look him up if you don't know Leslie Odom Jr. He's a nice man. And you picked another Leslie Odom Christmas piece, didn't you?
I did. I picked an original song that he did with the great Cynthia Erivo, who's also a Tony Award-winning singer. I don't know what genre you would call this. I don't know how you would pinpoint it. It has like a little bit of dance, a little bit of pop kind of in it, but it's also like kind of dark and kind of moody and a little folky.
A piece like the Christmas album I love that came out 2 years ago is John Legend's Christmas album. John, another beautiful man with a beautiful voice and incredible talent. I mean, there were so many beautiful pieces that he did, but this one to me, I don't know, just it gives me the feels right here in my heart. It's very bluesy. It has like a blues, jazzy feel to it. It's called By Christmas Eve. Julia, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about we both love this piece. It's our favorite piece, but you recently shed some light on this piece that I didn't notice. I didn't pay attention to. I have about 10 different versions I could list right now that I love. This is our conversation. I'm doubting myself. You know what song I'm talking about.
I do. The song is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, which is the original sad Christmas song as far as I'm concerned. It was written for the movie Meet Me in St. Louis, and
great film.
I have not seen the whole thing, which is so crazy. I love this song and I love Judy Garland's version. So she's singing, like you said, she's moving, and so she's spending her last Christmas there, and she's saying maybe next year we'll all be together, and maybe, next year all our troubles will be out of sight. And a lyric that she says is until then, we'll have to muddle through somehow. And that just gets me every single time. It puts a lump in my throat. So when Frank Sinatra, whom we both love too, recorded his Christmas album, it was called A Jolly Christmas, I think. So he wanted everything to be, ring-a-ding-ding, upbeat.
1960s hunky-dory.
Exactly.
Early 1960s hunky-dory.
Yeah, so he wanted it to be like upbeat and cool, and so he was like, guys, can you do something with this lyric? It's a real bummer. And so a songwriter changed it to hang a shining star upon the highest bough. And because people look to Sinatra's version more than Judy's, they use that lyric more often than the original.
Another song I'm going to say is a bit controversial that you might not like.
What is it? Have we come to it? Have we come to it?
All right.
It's the one?
Guys, just stay with me here. I appreciate how dirty the lyrics are. I appreciate that. I just love it.
It's not that it's dirty. It's that it's dumb. We've got to get to it. No, we've got to get to him.
Oh,
there's someone that you love, and I don't.
One more piece that I really want to talk about, Jules. I went to a concert a few years back where the singer told me the story, and I thought it was brilliant. It was written in 1945 in July by Sammy Kahn and Jules Stein. Huge wave in California, and they were dying in their apartment. So they decided to pretend it was snowing and really cold outside. And that's how we got Let It Snow.
I love that.
So I'm going to play that. I'm going to do Ella Fitzgerald's version because it's pretty dang good. And who doesn't love Ella Fitzgerald? Because if you don't, get out.
Yeah, if you don't love Ella Fitzgerald, get out. Okay.
Last song of the day.
So I have a lot of opinions. Some of them are negative, but some of them are very positive. And I think that this song is probably the greatest modern Christmas song. I love it so, so much.
Well, that's it. That's a wrap. We're going to call it. We've created lists on Spotify and on Apple Music, the Friendsy Podcast Christmas playlist. They are in the description box. You can click the link to access them. Let us know what you think. What's your favorite Christmas song? This video is going up on YouTube, on IGTV, and our podcast will come out next week as a bonus podcast. So stay tuned. Thanks for listening. Thanks for humoring us on this wonderful Christmas season. Stay safe. And I know a lot of people aren't going to be around family this year. I'm not going to be around family like I thought I would be this year. So, you know, we can do this together. We can beat this. You know, the light is at the end of the tunnel. We got this. Zoom with your friends, call your friends, reach out to people because we're all feeling it this year. So thank you.